Hey fam, this is part 51. If this is the first time you're seeing me, head back to the intro, figure out why we're here, figure out if you want to be here. If so, start at part 1, do the work, and meet us back here when you caught up. No, but for real, this is the time to leave. Or if you don't like paranormal stuff, if you don't like scary stuff, you should go. Okay, for those of you that have been with me on this journey, I'm going to tell you it's story time. Okay, I kind of feel like it's time now to share some of my experiences. As I've said in the past, my first experience that I can remember, I was 15. I was walking down a street, and in my mind, I heard run. Like, I knew it wasn't my mind telling me to do that, but I heard run, and so I did, and I ran, and that was my first experience. I then started having experiences with paranormal activity that was more with the dark. I don't talk about it. I don't have anything to do with it. I don't even watch scary movies. I have nothing to do with the dark. So we're just gonna jump right over that section. Okay, and then I had the experience when, of course, I was going to see my dad in the hospital, and it had flipped to when I was going through a hospital corridor in Globe to see my grandfather, and that was the last time I saw him. So when this happened, when I was going to see my dad, I knew that something was wrong, like something wasn't right, and I was right. Then, when I lived in Kansas, we lived in a tripod to where when you entered the home, you were in the living room. You went downstairs where there was a bathroom, a dining room, a kitchen, a laundry room, the back door. But from the front room, when you come in, you could have also gone upstairs where there was another bathroom and some bedrooms. We definitely had a lot of activity in this house to where like doors were opening and closing. We had it to where like downstairs I couldn't do laundry in the evening because they would shut the light off on me. But if I did laundry during the day, then they really couldn't mess with me. Or we'd be in the downstairs bathroom and the light would shut off. Or like while we were upstairs, like pots and pans were being like thrown around and banged around, but you'd go downstairs and there's nothing going on, but like markers thrown across, and little crazy stuff, nothing big. I then started having dreams to where I realized that they were not just normal dreams. I realized that people were actually coming and visiting me who have passed. That's how I learned that if their lips are moving, it's just a dream. And if their lips are not moving and you can still hear them, they're visiting. I have actually had the opportunity to experience peace 3 times. Um, when I was in Alaska, there was a point in time where I was super, super depressed. And I was like in a very dark and low place. And I was working 2 jobs, I was going to school. I was pretty stressed out. And I was up at 3 a.m. to go pick up my son from the airport. And on my way to the airport, I went from like the saddest I could have ever felt to within a snap of my fingers feeling just the happiest I could ever imagine. Like it was so peaceful and calm. I immediately knew that my dad was there. While I was in school, I would also like have a feeling like my dad was like near me or watching me. Like I just knew he was there. I had a brand new Dodge, and he is an electrician. And when I was alone in my Dodge, one light would flicker. And I just knew it was my dad letting me know he was there. along the way, I had little things that would happen here or there. But then my mom got sick. When my mom got sick, my dad started coming to me a lot more. He knew that my mom was scared and he wanted her to not be scared. He wanted her to know what it was like. I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and things really kicked up. The communication from my dad was like constant during like the last probably like 7 months before my mom passed. I also started getting outside communication from souls that I didn't know. So this was very exciting for me. One thing that I learned is that if something scares you or you feel fear from something, it is not good. Like, that is not good. That's your indicator. If something gives you a scary feeling or an uneasy feeling or it just doesn't sit right, not good. Good feels good. It's not scary, and that's how you know when somebody is good. But I also know now how to control my space and demand that only the light and the good is around me. I do good. I make sure that I follow the light. I do everything in my power to make sure that only the good is around me. But back to the story. So I was working at a dental office here in Oro Valley, and I was doing instruments, and I could feel like the hair on the top of my head move, and I was just like, what? And I was standing super still because I'm like, am I feeling that? And sure enough, I felt it again. So I ran to another assistant and I'm like, there's something in my hair. Like, I can feel something moving in my hair. And she's like, oh no, girl. She's like, this place is haunted. And I'm like, what? So I worked there for probably a good 7, 8 months. And I would get a feeling like there was somebody there. I would see an orb sometimes, like in just certain rooms. I would see like an orb only when I was with a certain doctor. Okay, so sometimes messages, you don't get them all at once. Sometimes you get them in pieces. And when things tie together, it's like an aha moment. It's kind of cool. But why can't we just get the whole message all at once? Anyways, it's a struggle. Okay, so there's this cute little patient that I had. She had to have been in her early 20s, very fair skin, red hair, and then she was speaking Spanish, and I was like taken back, like, oh my God, you know Spanish? And she was like, yeah, my nana taught me. And I was like, that's amazing because, well, I never learned Spanish, and so my poor children don't know Spanish either. So I just thought that it was amazing that she knew Spanish. Like, I've tried to learn Spanish, it's so hard. So the cute little girl says every time that she comes into the office, she's going to give me a new word that she's going to teach me Spanish. So super excited. The first word that she gave me was dentista. I think that's what it was. You guys, I'm bad. But anyways, I was like, what's that? And she's like, dentist. And I was just like, oh, okay. So that was our word. And then maybe like 2 weeks later, I was falling asleep. And my communication usually comes when I'm driving, when I'm falling asleep, if I'm in the shower, because your mind is like quieted and it's just a different like brainwave. It's in a state that you're more likely to have communication. All right, we got to go to part B.